Ipswich Town are looking to bounce back from last weekend's disappointment. I think that maybe undersells it, doesn't it? And they're looking to bounce back away at the league leaders. It's time for one of the class of 2025 to summon the spirit of Adam Tanner or Marcus Stewart. Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. Hello, mate. How's it going? Got to much tonight so far?
No, it feels like ages since I've seen you, so I hope you're keeping well. And not much to report, is there?
No, I much prefer this surrounding, not some transfer bants. And I've even kind of done a little bit of I'm summoning my Adam Tanner, the spirit of Adam Tanner, and all that kind of stuff. More about that later on, and lots more about that in the brilliant Blue Monday Rewind this week. But we are here to talk about Liverpool. As daunting as fixtures this season get, how's your week been post City?
Fine. I got 20-1 on City to win the league walking back to my car on Sunday evening before the drive back up north. So I did stick a tenner on them. And yeah, look, yes, it's horrible to sit through. Yes, it's horrible when you're in the stadium and it's, 6-0 at 60 minutes, whatever it was. And you're thinking, God, please don't be 9. But in some ways, it's great to see this world-class talent on show. And that's the mindset that I'm going to Anfield with on the weekend. I'm really looking forward to seeing Salah and Virgil van Dijk, etc. It's a privilege sometimes to watch these players. It just feels a bit shit when they're battering you, doesn't it? Oh, sorry, I've sworn within 2 minutes. Apologies, everyone. Sorry.
YouTube monetization taking an absolute battering today. Thank you for joining us in the chat. If you were here before, we have just, if you haven't caught on to what we were alluding to, we've just reacted to Julio and Enciso's move from Brighton on loan for the rest of the season. So there's a video over on the channel already talking about that. So after you've spent the rest of the, probably the next hour or so, maybe a little bit less, given we've dealt with that, you can go and watch or listen to that again. But let's see what the chat's got to say. Going to be windy up there, says Nick. Weather forecast. Stay safe, everyone, particularly if you're in Seb's neck of the woods. Not looking particularly nice, so stay safe, particularly on Friday. Evening to Gary. Hopefully the Storms don't stay around to risk the game. Is that wishful thinking? Maybe a little bit, Gary. I think it should be okay after that. But as we say, keep a look on things tomorrow.
I think tomorrow is the issue, isn't it? I think Friday is the issue. I think we've got, I don't think it's red. I think it might be amber as the warning.
A little bit north of you, though, I think it is. But
yeah. So I think it's mainly tomorrow that's the problem. I think Saturday should be okay.
Yeah, lots of geography and weather chat. We'll leave you guys to that if that's all right. Evening to Rob, evening to Neil again. Good to have you with us. Norman's back too, so thank you to the 7:30 crew. Thank you for joining us. It's been a while, Seb, since we've done a live 8 p.m. pre-match. Is this the reason why we lost to City? Is because we weren't here Thursday 8 p.m. We've just all the itineraries, the schedules went out the door last week, didn't they? Now we're back at our normal time slot. Is normality? Is safe again?
Do you reckon? Okay, yeah.
So clutching at straws, mate. Bloody hell! If we're going to get beat on Saturday, let's at least try and find the glimmers of hopes of where we can find them.
Yes, it's the Sky TV and the TNT fixture scheduling that caused the 6-0 defeat against Man City. It's much nicer being sat here. We've done a few recently pre-records for the FA Cup and for Man City last weekend. For a Thursday night post-reaction show, it's all over the shop. I much prefer the kind of rhythm and routine of our standard Thursday night. It feels much nicer to be sat here again, doesn't it, talking about the upcoming opposition at the weekend.
Even it's 80, the player revolving door is in full swing, mainly incomings. We're expecting some outcomings. 80 star of Sky Sports socials video as well. I saw you on that, 80. So good job in that one. Congrats. Brad is up a town is here. Neil Adrian Paz in that shirt. A Uruguayan, now joined by what was Enciso's nationality? Correct me. Paraguay, ticking them all off, as we were saying. But yeah, Adam Tanner shirt, evening to Tony, going to get himself a Blue Monday bandana at some point. I've put in the merch store, mate, for Tony or anyone else, you can get Blue Monday, what's the pool slippers? Yeah, thongs if you're an Australian, I think. But flip-flops in the merch store.
Did you say thongs?
That's what they call them in Australia.
All right. Yeah,
Michael,
you've not put a Blue Monday thong in the shop, have you?
no.
Right. Okay. Right. Just to
Get
clarify.
that image right out of your head. Michael Warner, our friend down under, will help us with that one. Yeah, E mutters. I must admit, even though we got tonked against City, it was great to see. Yeah, everyone kind of got the opinion that Gundogan, I think the guy said on the flagship, De Bruyne, they're all a little bit past it, and then you just watch them glide around.
Gundogan's legs have gone, haven't they? Some idiot sat here last week telling you that they weren't the City of old and that they lacked legs in the central midfield position, and then we saw what happened. So yeah, great, good times.
Welcome to Simon. I think one of our Telegram VIPs. Great to have you with us. Michael, Delat v Van Dijk. How long before the first hit? Might be well, more about that and referee watch in a bit, actually, Michael. It's a great shout. Evening from a wet and windy Essex. Yeah, lots of going on in the chat. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, and Liverpool obviously in Champions League action this week as well. So that's lots of context. We're going to cover all of it. We're going to get you up to speed. We're going to make you feel like you're the expert when you're on the terraces, either at Anfield or watching it with between your fingers and your hands and stuff like that. There you go, George Stannard. There's a wonderful video on YouTube talking about thongs from an Australian point of view. Here we go, thongs in Oz, jangles in New Zealand. There you go. We're educating on all different kinds of lingo tonight. Moving it on, ITFC women in action in Wales. That's a long old away trip for the folk heading across to their back to league action after a while, actually. A bit of a break, not too much action so far in 2025. Last time out, the game against City, Cardiff third bottom, only 2 wins all season. Town falling away a little bit through not having played matches, but have lots of games to catch up to get those points back in hand and get back on top. And a couple of signings made as well. So all things positive. Hopefully a win coming on Sunday, get things back on track. And then a run of more away games around Watford and Lewis. So if you're Suffolk based and want to find out about travel for that, the Women's Official Supporters Club are putting some coaches or buses on, mini buses or what have you. So do get involved in that. And then finally back to Felixstowe at some point during February too. Let's get stuck into Liverpool, your local game. And yeah, what's the sense of things up in your part of the world apart from, hey, we're top of the league in a different accent?
Could it have gone any better? Is probably it couldn't have done, could it? You know, I think we sat here the first one of the season, the first pre-match show back in August. We kind of sat here and said there's a bit of unknown here because normally when a new manager comes in to replace a club legend, a la Unai Emery at Arsenal, a la David Moyes at Man United, it sometimes goes a little bit wrong, but it's the exact opposite, isn't it? Top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League with a perfect record, 7 from 7 or 8 from 8, whatever it is in the Champions League. They are trailing in the first leg of a League Cup semi-final, but it's Tottenham, so they're clearly going to beat them quite convincingly.
Tottenham fans.
It's fine. I share an office with a Spurs fan, so no matter how much grief I get on a Monday morning about the weekend's football, he gets a worse kicking than I do, so it works out quite well. And yeah, I mean, the best thing you can say about Arne Slot is that no one really talks about Jurgen Klopp anymore, do they? Let's be honest. You know, he's come in there. They went for him for a reason. We'll discuss, you know, his past. We did it on the show back in August, but he's just instilled this element of control and calmness that perhaps wasn't there last season. Comes across incredibly well, seems like a top bloke in all the interviews, and very, very impressive body of work. And let's face it, it's the hardest game we're going to play this season, but once it's done, and we don't have to go there again until next season when we stay up, obviously.
Hey, there you go. Talk us through the season to date as the numbers. I mean, maybe fast forward through this one, folks. I don't know. We'll talk about us at some point, but yeah, we've got to do it. What does this table say? So
top of the league with 50 points. They are tracking for 90.44, so slightly down on a few of City's incredible seasons, but still tracking for a decent return. 6 points clear of second placed Arsenal. They have the game in hand when the Merseyside derby was called off due to high winds a few weeks ago. That's been rearranged for a couple of weeks' time, so 6 points clear with a game in hand. Played 21. Won 15, drawn 5, lost 1. That was at Anfield against Nottingham Forest. Scored 50 goals, conceded 20. They are the top scorers in the league, and they have conceded the fewest goals in the league. The last 5 overall, 3 wins, Brentford, West Ham, and Leicester, and 2 draws, Nottingham Forest and Man United.
Might still be fun, though. The home form is not as good as the league table form, though, eh?
They're crap at home. They're second, 23 points so far this season. Arsenal are slightly ahead of them, but they've played a game more, I think. 2 points behind Arsenal. Sorry, yeah, played a game less than Arsenal. Played 10, won 7, drawn 2, lost 1, lost Nottingham Forest at Anfield. Their only defeat this season has come at Anfield. Everyone keep that positivity. 20 goals scored at Anfield, 8 conceded. 8 goals conceded is the second fewest in the league behind Bournemouth at home. And the last 5 games at home are 3 wins, Leicester, Man City and Aston Villa, 2 draws, Man United and Fulham.
Hey, well, we can harness off in a Fulham, can't we? We drew with Fulham twice, so we can draw with Liverpool. There you go. I'm saying it now.
Liverpool did go down to 10 men after about 15 minutes in that game, just to
right.
Andy Robertson got a straight red card, just to caveat that a little bit.
And actually, the games of late, Seb, there has been an element of having to deal with teams trying to sit in and contain them. Admittedly, it took them 37 minutes to sort out Lille. But they did struggle to break them down a little bit. And Brentford as well. It took some late goals from Darwin, didn't it, to get the points. So I guess we did at Arsenal to an extent, didn't we? The strategy we'll talk about later on, but they have had teams starting to sit in and get an element of success against it. No?
Yeah, why not? Let's go with that. Yeah, it was the late show, wasn't it? The late show against Brentford last time out, away to Brentford at the community stadium, whatever it's called, the G-Tech. 91st and 93rd minute goals from Darwin and Nunez. To be fair, it was fully deserved. It wasn't like a smashing. Yeah, the stats, they destroyed them. They hit the ball work through Dominic Sloboszlai as well, I think. 61% possession, 3.43 XG to Brentford's 0.72, 37 shots, 8 on target. They also beat Lille 2-1 in midweek in the Champions League.
Did you see that one?
No, I didn't watch it. No, I didn't.
So Lille sat in and actually frustrated them quite a lot, and then went down to 10, and then got an equaliser. So I mean, they lost the game, but only 2-1. So maybe there's some learning from 90 minutes v Brentford and 60 odd minutes versus Lille. You know, it is possible to sit in and contain and frustrate them, but I guess it's a risky strategy, and you're also relying on profligate finishes. And as you know, we'll talk about FPL later. When Mo Salah doesn't score, you are relying on Gakpo, Darwin, and they're not exactly as consistent or as a sure thing as Salah has been. Fair?
Yeah, very fair. Why do you call him Darwin? Are you on first name terms with him?
Well, I thought that's what he goes by. Darwin Nunez, then.
Darwin Nunez. Yeah, perhaps, but if you can stop Salah. But
there's an evolution joke there somewhere, maybe. I don't know.
They've got threats all over the pitch. So, yes, it's going to be very difficult to kind of stop them. Do you assume they will go on and win their second ever Premier League title to move them ahead of football powerhouses like Blackburn and Leicester? Do you think they will do it now? Or do you think any chance Arsenal can catch them, or any chance that City might catch them? I think last weekend felt quite pivotal, didn't it? Arsenal 2-0 up to Villa after beating Spurs in midweek, 2-2. Liverpool grind out. You know, they're the kind of results that we used to talk about Fergie time back in the day, didn't we? They're the kind of results that win you league titles. Do you think that weekend feels pivotal and it's only a matter of time now?
Yeah, and the other thing as well, and I need to say this with deep respect to both Liverpool fans and fans of other top 6 clubs, but Liverpool usually have a little bit of emotion and fragility and dysfunction every now and then. They kind of, you know, I'm thinking back to the kind of Brendan Rodgers era more than the Klopp era, but there's always usually some sort of catastrophe that conspires to stop them from, you know, getting top spot. And it's just so steady and consistent and calm under Arne Slot, isn't it? Whereas Arteta is always going to have some kind of meltdown on the sideline. Spurs aren't even a top 6 team anymore. They're down near us, aren't they? But Big Ange's a load of panto off the field about him. City had their kind of blow up until they came and played us, obviously, and Chelsea just haven't got the consistency. So it's maybe a good season to be Liverpool in respect of everyone else is doing their best to chuck it away. Arsenal, I just can't see scoring enough goals at the moment. You know, our game, a case in point, you know, all the territory, all the possession, loads of set pieces, which they're supposed to be great at, and still could only score once past us. And even then there was some crap defending from us that conspired to kind of throw that one away. So I kind of feel like Liverpool just need to keep doing what they're doing. And even if they were to have a brain fart, and you can't imagine it happening, I still think they've got enough about them to get the job done. So it is still January. There's still a lot of football to be played, but it does feel like Thanos inevitable. And I'm sure you'll love that living up in your part of the world. What is Arne Slot's win percentage and stats record so far?
71% win percentage. Obviously, that's just for the league games. It'll be high if you count the Champions League games as well. They paid 9.4 million quid to get him last summer from Feyenoord. He was kind of chosen ahead of other candidates because of his ability to fit in with the existing structure. So they spoke to Ruben Amorim and looked at him, but they didn't want to switch to a back three. They wanted basically somebody to come in and continue the great work that Jurgen Klopp had done in terms of the high press, highly dynamic, attacking, possession-based football. And they've got just that with an extra degree of calmness. I guess the only thing hanging over them this season that maybe could derail their title charge and give hope to the likes of me, who is surrounded by Liverpool fans, it's the out of contract thing, isn't it? With Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So there seems to be brinksmanship and posturing. You know, Salah's kind of done a few post-match interviews, which he rarely does, saying there's no movement, there's no talk, this will be the last time I play at Old Trafford, etc. And I guess maybe there's a feeling that those, if that becomes a thing, or if a move is announced, if let's say, you know, at the end of the window it closes and Salah is announced he's off to Saudi in the summer or somewhere else, as is Van Dijk, or Trent signs a pre-contract deal with Real Madrid, maybe that might upset the apple cart a little bit. But that's the only thing that's not going in their favour this summer. They've done very little recruitment because the squad was left in really good nick from Jurgen Klopp. I just wonder if those three huge players, you know, they've been absolute stalwarts for them for this whole reign of success with their one Premier League title. If they suddenly move on, then potentially that might upset things a little bit, maybe.
And guys, if you are after a new contract to Liverpool, the best way to agitate that is to demonstrate how important you are by playing crap for a few weeks and remind them how good you are, and then get back in the team, etc. Maybe down tools against Ipswich out of protest, perhaps. I don't know. Head-to-head, Seb, that will nudge people towards Blue Monday Rewind. I'd have no idea where I was going there with that one. We'll move on swiftly from it. Blue Monday Rewind, really great profiling of two really fantastic victories against the odds. You know, frankly, the Adam Tanner game, we've talked about that. Very similar circumstances, albeit I think probably we were as good as down at that point, whereas obviously we have much more hope this time around. But a team that was expecting to batter us, and then Adam Tanner pings one from range, and then one of your favourite ever Ipswich Town goals, I think this one, isn't it? Marcus Stewart dancing around Sander Westerveld, Jamie Carragher et al, and scoring in front of the Kop end.
Absolutely iconic. The overall record, unsurprisingly, Liverpool have the advantage. 14 wins for Town, 21 draws between the two, and 38 wins for Liverpool. Blue Monday Rewind, check it out. Absolutely excellent. They do talk about the last time we went to Anfield in the league, which was a 5-0 loss in May 2002, but no one cares. That wasn't our last visit to Anfield, however, because the following season we did go there and get a 1-1 draw in the Carling Cup, or whether the League Cup was. Yes, you were. The League Cup. We lost on penalties.
Coca-Cola Cup, I think it was at that point.
Was that what it was? Tommy Miller scoring in front of the Kop. So our last visit to Anfield in any competition, we came away with a very respectable 1-1 draw. And of course, the Marcus Stewart, the iconic goal of that season. They discuss it on Blue Monday Rewind, don't they? The iconic goals are probably the Wilness against Man United in the second game of the season, the first game at home. And that goal at the Kop is stunning, isn't it? You know, the touch they've got to Jamie Carragher sliding off the pitch, and then, as we saw so many times, Stewart takes it around the keeper and just side foots it home. And yeah, what an absolutely iconic win that was. Wouldn't we all give anything for that this weekend? Just going back to that 1-1 draw in the Cup that you were at, let's see how good your lineup knowledge is from that evening. So it must have been was it November, December time, maybe. November. So it must have been the 5th round potentially of the of that Cup, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
it starts in the first round. Doesn't it?
Second or third round, I think it would have been. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So go on then. I've got the lineup. It looks like a 5-3-2 with.
I was going to say it was a 5 at the back. Yeah. So I'm not looking at the chat. Neil's already getting in there. I'm turning it off. Tommy Miller scored the goal.
So yeah. Got that one.
And I was sat in the home end for this one, by the way, as well. So that was, I had to sit on my hands for that one. I know who missed.
Were you in the Kop?
No, what's the one? So if you're looking out of the Kop towards the pitch, the one to the left, is that Anfield Road? No, that's the
Anfield Road's the far one, I think, isn't it? Yeah, it's the.
I think it might now be the Dalglish stand, maybe.
Right.
Whatever the main huge,
the one they've built the big thing
juggernaut stand now is. I think that's where I was. Yeah. So I think Andy Marshall in goal.
Yep.
Jamie Clapham was involved.
Left wing back.
Mark Venus.
Yeah.
I think. I'm going to need some help after this one. Matt Holland would have been involved, I'm pretty certain. Was Marcus Bent and Alan Armstrong in the team?
No, neither of them. It was the other ones.
The other ones.
Same surname as Marcus Bent.
Darren, okay.
Yeah.
Darren Ambrose involved then?
Darren Ambrose was in midfield, yep, with Matt Holland. One more in midfield. Another
Jim?
who would have No, it wasn't Jimmy Chilton. Sold to Newcastle for peanuts when we went into administration in the February time of that season. Oh, did you say Ambrose? Oh, I missed that one. Sorry. Okay, right. So Miller, Holland, Ambrose are your three in midfield. Striking partner alongside Darren Bent. Very good season that year. Scored nearly 20 goals, I think.
Oh, wow.
Ole.
Oh, Pablo,
yeah.
Pablo was it was Vilnius in the team?
No, the right wing back was somebody playing out of position. No, somebody playing out of position.
John McGrail.
No, Jermaine Wright was the right wing back. And then you've got two more defenders, the left-sided one and the right-sided one. Venus looked like he was in the middle of the three.
Right. Oh man, I'm struggling.
Thomas Gardso.
Okay, wow, yeah.
Was the right-sided one. And the left-sided one dived into the north stand and used to eat puffins.
Herman was still around, was he?
Herman, yeah. He gets sold in the February like Ambrose does, doesn't he?
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
So he did well there. Pretty decent, to be fair.
Yeah, I hadn't cheated because I thought, well, it's on Blue Monday Rewind, so he's not going to talk about it. But yeah, I do remember that. And I remember, I think El Hadj Diouf scored the winning penalty in the shootout.
Did he score the equaliser? Well, I think, didn't he?
Did he score the equaliser? I think he might have scored the winning one too.
So.
But yeah,
bastard El Hadj Diouf.
Oh, you're just chucking money away for us tonight with your potty mouth.
I thought once you've done it once, it's done. Or do you keep getting? Oh, sorry. Right, sorry.
Absolute disgraceful, babe. I apologise, especially if you've got young kids listening to this in the car on the way up to Liverpool on Saturday. Absolute disgrace. Obviously, last time out, Seb, what's your abiding memories of sunny? In terms of the weather, we couldn't have been the complete polar opposite of what we'll be experiencing on the next few days. But opening day, the 2-0 defeat, obviously, Jota and Salah with the goals for them. But that was mainly enjoyable.
It was, yeah. It was a stunning day, obviously, and the excitement around the town was electric. It was the 12:30 kickoff, so I think we were in the Greyhound from about 9:30-ish, weren't we? And it was brilliant to see the stuff that we now take for granted in the Premier League in terms of the media coverage, the ex-pros around the pitch getting interviewed, etc. The first half performance was really, really good. Do you remember they had to sub Kwanzaa, the centre half, at half time because he couldn't cope with Liam Delap? And yeah, we played incredibly well that day. We lost, but I remember thinking that okay, we're it's the key word for the season that we've been competitive, certainly at large points of that game. And I think we just signed Calvin Phillips. Yeah, he was on the bench, wasn't he? Calvin Phillips had just come in, and obviously I think Greaves started, but there were an awful lot of players who hadn't joined yet. So in some ways, I think I remember saying it on the night, it was nice to see Luongo and Morsey in central midfield, Wes Burns on the right, Connor Chaplin in the 10. It was great seeing these guys that have been with us for so long getting that chance to play against a behemoth of a football club. And I didn't think we disgraced ourselves in the slightest. They had to make tactical changes. They had to change the centre half and push Trent Alexander-Arnold into midfield in the second half to win the game. And was it the first or second goal was a real quality pass and move, and there's no disgrace to lose to a goal like that. So yeah, I took a lot more encouragement from that game than I did the negatives.
And we learn, don't we? So here's to 90 minutes of that, and hopefully the added time too. We talked January business in our previous pod. You can hear all our views on NCSO and other potential business happening. Is there anything exciting happening up in Anfield?
Nothing confirmed. No, they were obviously in big time in the summer for Zubamendi, kind of to play in that number 6 kind of metronome role, but they didn't get him, and I thought maybe they might look to go back for him in the January window because they do tend to go back in for previous targets, but nothing yet. They have been linked with Milos Kerkez, the left back at Bournemouth, who by all accounts was outstanding away at Newcastle last weekend. Andy Robertson, will discuss, is coming towards the end, I would suggest, of his time at Anfield, maybe on a bit of a decline after years of brilliant service, so they do need a left back at some point. And as we know, very early on the window, it might have been the first day of the window being opened, Real Madrid were confirmed to have an approach. I think it was a bid. I think it was an approach for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, he can sign a pre-contract agreement anytime from now with a foreign club to join for free in the summer. So it would suggest they were testing the water with a 20-25 million pound bid, what the press up here were kind of reporting it to be. If Liverpool showed any kind of favour, but that was swiftly rebuked.
Or Trent, as I like to call him. Do you want to talk us through the tactics for all the good it did last week? I mean, it was probably pretty consistent with what we warned people about in terms of everyone in our half, and it was basically like the 1-5 4-3 formation, whatever it was, 4 formation. What can we expect from Liverpool on Saturday?
So it's not as crazy as the City one was last weekend. So this is how they lined up against Brentford. The 2 late goals from Darwin Nunez winning them the game last time out. So lineup is a very, very traditional 4-2-3-1. That's the major change that Slot has made from Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp was very much a 4-3-3 with a kind of single pivot, someone like Fabinho, who would pick the ball up off the centre halves. He's kind of flip reversed it. So he plays more of an out-and-out number 10 behind the central striker. So lineup is the 4-2-3-1. If we then push our magic button, it will move to the positions where the average player positions were. So as you can see, that kind of morphs into more like a 3-3-4, shall we say. We've discussed Gravenberch. He's been one of the surprises of the season, the way they've repurposed him to become this central midfield kind of, not almost a disruptor, but this one that keeps them ticking over. He kind of joined a couple of years ago from Bayern Munich, got a big move from Ajax, I think it was, wasn't it? Didn't really settle there, was very much a squad player, but Slot's repurposed him to great effect. And he provides the defensive screen for the centre-backs, Kanate and Van Dijk, most likely at the weekend. And that kind of gives license to Trent Alexander-Arnold and either Andy Robertson or Tsimikas in the left-hand role to really, really push up. So that's where they move to for the average player positions. And then if we do the heat map, so where they take the most touches, you will see a bit like City, not as crazy as City, but they all move forward again. Now with the City
quite
one,
narrow,
it was even, it was even higher for the Man City heat map last weekend. But again, you can see this is a side that really looks to dominate the ball. The centre halves will comfortably step up into the opposing half to kind of create this relentless barrier of pressure. Gravenberch is the one that stays deep in between them. Alexander-Arnold likes to tuck into midfield. We saw him try that in the Euros, didn't we? Gareth Southgate would play him as kind of a number 8 in central midfield. He's got that skill set in his locker. Mo Salah, no surprises, takes his most touches in that kind of inside channel in the penalty area, looking to get the ball onto his left foot. They do have a little bit of an issue through the middle. Darwin Nunez, or your mate Darwin, as you call him, hasn't really hit the ground running in his Liverpool career. He will score goals, but he needs an awful lot of chances. So they've been playing Luis Diaz through the middle recently because of the form of Cody Gakpo. Now, Klopp kind of moved Gakpo around quite a lot. He was a number 10 some weeks. He was through the middle some weeks, but Slot's kind of found a home for him in the attacking left-hand channel. And as you can see there, he pretty much steps up as high as Mo Salah does and does very similar. Salah cuts inside onto his left foot. Gakpo cuts inside onto his right foot. The 3 central midfielders, I've discussed Gravenberch, who will sit deeper. McAllister and Dominic Slobozai will move up to create shooting chances from outside of the box. So very similar to City. As you say, it is narrow. You kind of maybe associate them with, certainly with more with Andy Robertson back in the day of bombing to the byline and getting balls pulled back. That has evolved a little bit, but it's all about control. It's all about retaining possession, and it's all about creating overloads.
Yeah, McAllister very much a kind of creator, whereas I think at Brighton he was more of a goal scorer, but definitely about trying to bring the likes of Diaz, Gakpo, Salah into the game. And
he's playing deeper. So at Brighton, he was more of a 10, wasn't he? Playing the number 10 role. At Liverpool, he's playing deeper. And Slobozai, if you want to be a hipster, Slobozai is kind of the one who plays the more advanced of the midfield 3.
Oh, mate, Sam, Darwin is the master of difficult. He calls him Darwin as well. There you go. Master of difficult chances, awful at sitters. If he has time to think, it's going wide. We know several players we can put in the same mold as that one. Any other stats that you want to kind of talk to, Seb, before we can highlight key players?
I won't list them all because they are just terrifying. Between 3rd and 4th of pressing intensity, so not the most pressing intense side in the league. I think Bournemouth still hold that particular mantle. 58% possession is the 4th highest. 86% passing accuracy is the 5th highest. 10 goals scored from counter-attacks is the joint highest in the league. Maybe that goes back to your kind of narrow, what you've just seen on the heat maps. Keep things narrow, and you've got a side that will hit you quickly on the break. 18 shots taken per game is the most in the league. 7 shots on target per game is the most in the league. 10 shots conceded per game is the fewest in the league, and 9 clean sheets is the joint highest in the league. No surprise, they are top of the league. Ergo, most of their statistics are of similar vein.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about stats for their star performers? I mean, don't switch off, folks. Please stick around. We will talk about
Last time we went there, we drew 1-1 everyone.
In 2002 or whatever it was.
Yeah, but our side now is better than that side.
Tell me how good Mo Salah is, Seb.
18 goals, 13 assists, 0.87 goals per 90 minutes is the second highest in the league. Virgil van Dijk is imperious at the back. 92% passing accuracy and 86 touches per game. So ridiculously high levels of involvement. Your mate Trent, 1 goal and 5 assists so far this season. 2.3 key passes per game and 76 touches per 90. So we'll be on the ball we'll pick up the ball and look to get involved throughout the match. Cody Gakpo, I've just discussed, settled in that left-hand attacking sided role, 6 goals, 2 assists. Luis Diaz through the middle, or it'll be Darwin Nunez. Diaz has got 8 goals and 2 assists. And the 3 midfield, we talk about this element of calm that's been instilled. Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister, and Dominic Slobozai average 176 touches per game combined. So it's not going to be one where we're going to have much of the ball, folks. They've got a few absentees and injuries. Curtis Jones was subbed at half-time with an injury against Lille, so might not feature. Joe Gomez has been out and is still a few weeks away. And Diego Jota is out until mid to late February, so they won't be featuring. And I guess you look at the squad, you look at the numbers, all they're really missing from being an absolute elite, I mean, they are an elite level side, but all they're really potentially missing is that killer striker through the middle. You know, if you put Haaland in this side, for example, or Harry Kane, they go to a completely different level. And as I said earlier, maybe a left back for the future to look to replace Andy Robertson. He's not had the best of seasons so far. I think he's given away a penalty, got the red card against Fulham, so he's been a bit below par. And although he's only 30 or 31, he's played a lot of football for them over the last few years. So they're the only kind of 2 potential weaknesses in the squad.
Simon mentions this. Maybe they played Lille midweek. Maybe a little bit of rotation, perhaps. You never know. There isn't a huge, big squad there. I'm kind of thinking if you drop or rotate Trent Alexander-Arnold, you bring in Connor Bradley, maybe. There isn't much strength in depth into, it's a very strong first 11, but beyond that, maybe Seb, and not that,
that's fair. They're a bit like Man City in terms of you will see kids on the bench, and Slot came with a real reputation for bringing through youth at his time in Feyenoord, and that's kind of what he's done at Liverpool. Kwanzaa, for example, has made a few appearances. Harvey Elliott, I know he's not their player through the ranks. They took him from Fulham, I think, didn't they, in the end? But Curtis Jones, etc., they've all been involved this season, and yeah, potentially. I mean, if the only real rotation I could potentially see them doing, Tsimikas might well continue in the left-hand role, not play Andy Robertson, and you might well see Darwin Nunez through the middle, but I would fully expect Salah, Cody Gakpo, etc., with the likes of Diego Jota being out. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. Let's be honest. We hold our hands up. We make no promise, no apologies for it. It's an excellent side we are facing at the weekend. But we'll discuss what we were going to do. Last time we got battered by an opposition in the Premier League, we put in a pretty solid defensive performance the following game. So keep the faith, everyone. Just think, Adam Tanner. Marcus
Stewart. Trevor, I'm even more worried now. Sorry, Trevor. We're spitting facts, but
I could lie.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they're a bit crap. No,
they've fluked the league so far this season.
We are lowering our expectations. So when Amari Hutchinson dribbles around all of their defenders and makes it 1-0 in the 89th minute, you will be so happy. We're lowering their expectations so that the delta to excitement and happiness when a miracle happens, it will be beyond your wildest dreams. Final bit from me before we talk about us. Referee Michael Salisbury last refed us in the defeat to Bournemouth. But someone, I think it was Michael, mentioned it at the top. If you're Liam Delap looking to get away with a cheeky little elbow or in the face of Virgil van Dijk, then he missed Justin Kluivert smashing into Sam Morsey on halfway along with VAR and did nothing about it. So and also the odds of Ipswich getting a win on Saturday, I had a quick look at one bookmaker, 14-1. Jeremy Salisbury's match record for the 6 games that he's been in charge in the Premier League is 50-50 even split between home and away wins, no draws. So 50-50 is better than 14-1 if you ask me. So there's another, you're telling me there's a chance, 50-50. I'm clutching at straws, guys. We're doing our absolute best. Let's hear what our friends at Wells have to say.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London. And to find out more, head to atwells.com.
Thank you to Atwells for the support of the podcast this season. And One Stop Badges. Seb was going to say something.
Just very quickly, just a question that's come in the chat from Sam, who's a Liverpool fan. Would you rather play against this slot team or the Klopp team? And I think it's an interesting question, because I think I'd rather play against Klopp's team, because they were very much rock and roll. What did he call it? Heavy metal football. But that would always leave them open to chances, and it would leave them kind of vulnerable to the occasional bizarre result. I think it's the element of calmness and kind of process that Slot's brought in that makes this Liverpool team so formidable.
No, I can't agree with that.
You'd rather play Slot than Klopp's team.
Yeah,
would you?
I think if Klopp's team is on absolute but
that's the key thing. They had off days.
True. So, but I guess what I'm saying is the risk. If the assumption is they're both at full capacity, 100%. I think Klopp's team were just relentless, would just keep attack. I don't think Slot is more pragmatic, and once the game is won, I think it's kind of won, and you don't keep going for the 5th and the 6th and the 7th. That's my thinking. Moving on. That's why I completely skipped that question, Seb, because I didn't want to have to talk about it. Thank you to One Stop Badges as well for their support this season. If you find a Seb Brown at Anfield, he will be there. He may have badges if he remembers. So do ask for a One Stop Badge. No, he's running out.
I'm not driving. I'm on the train this time because it's my home one. So I will probably
pocket.
forget. But they're in the car, so I'll probably forget. Sorry.
There you go, folks. That's what I'm having to deal with here. Telegram, we mentioned that. You can join our chat 24/7, 365. Transfer window. Match day chat will be open, so you can misery loves company, as we say. Or I've had some great moments of ignoring the match, and which I will be doing on Saturday because I've got other plans, and then going into Telegram and seeing everyone deliriously happy. So hopefully that will be happening for us. But whatever happens, win, lose or draw, we'll be back on Sunday to talk all about it on the Flagship show. Ben, Dave and Craig, who's also making the trip up. He doesn't have any One Stop Badges, sadly, but that will be our Holy Trinity for Sunday. We mentioned Blue Monday Rewind. Check out our Julio Enciso reaction pod too. I think that's all we need to talk about for that stuff. Let's talk about us. We know we've got some players missing. I think we've talked about Enciso previously, said that bench is probably the most likely situation for him. So what say you for how we approach this one?
Well, there's a lot of debate at the moment, isn't there, around what could happen. So we know Chamberlain and Smodic are out. McKenna's confirmed that in the pre-match presser today. I assume, very much like after the Newcastle game, after the mauling to Man City last week, we will go to that disciplined kind of, it was basically a 5, wasn't it? 5-4-1 at the Emirates. And I presume we'll do similar at the weekend against Liverpool and look to frustrate them, make it difficult to break down. So that opens up a few kind of discussion points. Axel Tuanzebe is probably the best at that right-sided centre-back role. He got a few useful minutes in the end against Man City. Were those minutes with a view to potentially starting him ahead of Ben Godfrey at Anfield? I wonder. Will Jacob Greaves come back in for Cameron Burgess? You know, we conceded 6 goals. I wouldn't really blame Burgess for any of them, but you know, Greaves is clearly the player signed for the future. Will he come back in and get a bit of some minutes, some useful minutes there? Do we need to talk about central midfield? Is it potentially
Trevor's asked about that? He says, "Would you play a 3?" But I think I know where you were going. Go on, ask the question.
Do you think that we saw Phillips and Karius play against Brighton, didn't we? They couldn't continue that against Man City because Calvin Phillips was ineligible. Do you think we maybe need to look at a Calvin Phillips, Jens Karius to central midfield 2 and have Morsey on the bench for this one, given the relentlessness of Liverpool's midfield, the physicality of Liverpool's midfield, and Morsey hasn't quite looked at it in recent weeks, has he? You know, since he was decent against Chelsea after his rest against Arsenal, but even Newcastle. Fulham, he wasn't great. Newcastle, wasn't great. Are the physical demands of the Premier League maybe starting to catch up with him? I think I might look to Phillips and Karius centre midfield. Does Philogene come in? Does Ben Johnson continue in the right-sided role? I thought he struggled against Man City, so you're going to bring Wes Burns back. Is Amari the other number 10? And am I crazy for thinking, with what's to come next weekend, is there a chance you rest Liam Delap for this game, put him on the bench and play George Hurst? I've thrown a lot at you there. Give me some answers. So let's start at the back. So Tuanzebe or Godfrey?
Tuanzebe, I think. I think your logic is sound that he gets minutes last week to help him with the match fitness this week. I think he's been training all week. And clearly we are so much better with him in the team. So I think we'll be trying to get him in there as quickly as possible. And if he can't finish the 90, then so be it. But yeah.
Greaves or Burgess?
I think Greaves. Yeah. I mean, as you say, Burgess, I don't recall a huge amount of issue with Burgess's performance, but something went wrong, didn't it, last week? It's not fair to single Burgess out for it, but I just think Greaves is the player with the higher ceiling, isn't it? And not massively impressed with Greaves in that Brighton defeat, especially the first goal. But I think I would go Greaves.
Central midfield. Are we in a world where Sam Morsey is no longer an automatic starter for the club?
It'll be so difficult for Kieran McKenna to make that call. I think we can say it knowing that it's not us as naming the team on Saturday. But I just can't see how you can't take Kiyuste out of the team, most consistent midfielder all season since he's been in the team, really. I think Calvin Phillips has the Premier League IQ that we sometimes lack. And physically, I just can't. Last week was quite hard to watch. And we need more 100% Morsey back for Southampton. In the same logic, I don't think he drops Delap, by the way. I think Delap is just so important for how we attack. When in the rare instances that we will be attacking, it's all about Delap, isn't it? I would be definitely keen to see Hurst get at least 30 minutes. But I think in this one, it's maybe a rotation for Morsey to bring Morsey back for Southampton and harness the kind of the memories of last season and his pre-assists.
That long crossfield ball to Leif Davis for the red card and the Sarmiento winner. Yeah, Jaden Philogene, one last one. Do you think he starts on the left-sided attacking role?
Yeah. Yep. Burns outright. I like that suggestion. So Axel and then Burns, and then Omari in the 10.
Okay.
Yep. I think if you've got any other views, let us know. Who was the Blackpool manager that got fined for doing something similar?
It wasn't a Blackpool manager. It was
Wolves.
Mick McCarthy. Yeah. Mick rested. Was it an entire 11 against Man United? Yeah. So that he could then, whoever they played the following weekend. I think they won the game that he rested most of the players for, and there was a bit of outcry, and they didn't get a sanction, but I think he got a lot of criticism for it. Yeah.
Michael asking about Townsend at fullback just for this game.
Defensively more solid against Mo Salah, but no, it'll be Leif Davis. Let's be honest. If we're going to nick a goal at Anfield, it's going to be from a set piece. Not been great this season, Leif's delivery, or it's most likely to come from a Leif Davis cross into Liam Delap or a pullback for somebody running onto it like Philogene or Hutchinson. So I'd be amazed if Leif Davis didn't start. I understand what Michael's saying there, because Townsend would give you more defensive solidity, but there are going to be times you've got to get up the pitch, and Leif Davis is pretty decent in that.
And a strong performance against Bristol City in the FA Cup does not a start against Liverpool make, if I'm honest. But there's a reason we signed him, and maybe we'll see a bit more of him. I think Leif's been a little bit inconsistent of late, actually, a bit defensively concerning at times too. But as you say, as a creative attacking outlet, which is why he's in the team, frankly. They don't compare really at the moment. Do give us your thoughts on those dilemmas that Seb has posed. What do you do about Morsey? What do you do? Do you rest Delap?
Sorry, one last one. We've not discussed the keeper. We've not discussed the keeper, have we? One last one. What's the fault for you for a couple of the City goals?
Yeah. But I don't think there's much he can do about it, is there? And there you go. I don't think so.
I think it'll be Walton. Yeah, I just thought it was a debate to have, given some people in the comments are mentioning it.
Jod Life, my partner asking, why is the blue bit on your retro kit collar? I can't really answer that. Why is it, or what is it? This is the 94-95 shirt, by the way. This is not the present shirt. This is a tribute to Adam Tanner. So I'm happy to talk kits, and hopefully that answers the question. But it's not this season's kit. It's one from. It's 20 years old. If not, is it 20 years old?
20? No, I think you've lost a decade there. Yeah, you've lost a decade there. Yeah,
where does the
30 years this year. Yeah.
Where does the time go? We will be back at the end to talk predictions, but do think about your lineups. Do think about your score predictions, because it's time for my favorite feature on the podcast. if you're looking for omens for Saturday, what I've provided a perfect example for it. I have won a week of the FPL feature. Come on, everybody. Where are
So
you, Streaky? Where are you? Your boys took one hell of a beating. They didn't. We both scraped over the line with a pretty lousy week score, didn't we?
What a crap week that was.
27 for Seb, 34 for me. The Ipswich bonus sorts you out, getting you over the 31 to 31. But I win by 4 points, brings the head.
I've still got that healthy 184-point lead. Yeah,
I'm now up to 4 digits, exactly 1,000 points scored. I'm 6 away in the head-to-head, but closing the gap. Every little helps, as we know from Tesco. But yeah, there you go, victory. So if I can do it, why can't ITFC? I do, however, have to come clean. I've put a Liverpool player into my team, not least because they have a double game week coming up and some pretty straightforward fixtures, dare we say. I could have afforded Mo Salah, but for the interests of sporting integrity and the making the feature vaguely interesting, guess who I've gone for, Seb?
Luis Diaz.
No. Cody Gakpo. Yeah, Cody Gakpo taking up a position on my left-hand side. And I've also brought in, because he's a bit of a form player at the moment, dumped James Maddison because of Spurs' current form and brought in Matoma from Brighton. They're facing Everton at home.
Did he get 2 and 2? He scored against us, obviously. He scored against United as well.
I think he's a bit of a streaky player. I'm worried that he might let me down. But there you go, Davis on the bench. So my two kind of, Chris Wood is helping me out with my ITFC quota. Our rules allowed for a minimum of 2 players from the 3 Ipswich squad players that we are required to name, and an ex-ITFC or someone with an ITFC link. So there you go. What have you been doing on yours? Look at all of this.
I have freshened things up massively. So I've used all 5 of my transfers, I think. Now, it's going to look like I'm copying you, but I'm genuinely not. So I had to take out Pedro Porro because Spurs are awful, and he was costing me a fortune. So the only right back I could afford to do the rest of this was Ola Aina. So I've copied you in that respect. William Saliba was a direct swap for Gabriel. That makes no difference. Saliba is just a doubt for the weekend. So I had to bring in an equivalent Arsenal defender, so I went for him. And then I have bought in Phil Foden into my central midfield by selling Nicholas Jackson up front, who's been pretty crap for the last few weeks. So I reverted from a front 3. I've still got Isak, still got Liam Delap, but Phil Foden, Amad Diallo, Amari Hutchinson, Cole Palmer, and Mo Salah is my central midfield, and that is where the points should come from. My ITFC representation is, as always, Liam Delap and Amari, and I've got Leif Davis on the bench, along with Illiman and Diai, who scored for Everton at the weekend. So 5 subs used. Let's see. 5 free transfers used. Let's see how we get on.
And your Nick Pope is your ex-ITFC, is it?
Yeah, I've got 4 players, yeah.
Nick Pope, does he have ex-ITFC link?
He's been in there for you know. If you can have Chris Wood for his 4-game loan spell in 2015, I can have Nick Pope.
Was he in the youth team? Was he?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
He's been there all season. You've only noticed it game week 22. Well, Shut up. Move on.
I mean, huge technicality here. This could be a massive point of controversy, folks.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'm 184 points ahead of you, because Nick Pope, who hasn't featured for me all season,
broken the rules,
is my reserve keeper.
We'll be back for a steward's inquiry next week. We'll see how we get on. And who will be the one who does the damage? Anfield, Liam Delap.
I'd like to point out that Mo Salah has been my captain. I've not just captained him for this game. He's been my captain for
that's all right. Don't worry. You're not disloyal. Sack Seb for being disloyal. We are very much aware that you are a team built around Mohamed Salah, not too dissimilar to the team we faced on Saturday. So we'll be back next week to have a look about it and let us know your predictions. That's where we're going to go to next. Trevor's helping out. Nick Pope played for Bury. There you go. Not Ipswich Town.
No, but he was at the club. He played in the academy in the reserve sides, and that definitely counts. Stop trying to get out of things on a technicality.
Get your predictions in. We will we'll put as many on the screen as we can. Seb, should we do ours first? Should we show the way?
We can do. Look, we have to be realistic. I'm the positive one of the podcast. Normally, this is the toughest game we will play all season, given their league position and given it's away from home. If you offered me A 1-0 now, I'd snap your hand off. A 2-0, I'd probably be brilliant. Thanks very much. I think we're looking at a 3-goal winning margin for Liverpool. So I'm going to go Liverpool 3, Ipswich 0. And all you don't want is another massive battering to kill the goal difference again, because that really hurts. You know, we're all watching Chelsea Wolves on Monday night thinking, well, if they win 7-0, we're at the relegation zone, etc. So we got it so close to Wolves within a goal or two. It's crucial to come away from this with minimal damage done in that respect. So 3-0, but off me a 1-0 now, and I'd snap your hand off, as sad as that sounds, I'm afraid.
Michael, I will put your chat up if you want, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to delete it. I will put it up there because it's there, and I will do what my job is, which is put them on the screen. But if you really want me to put that on the screen and associate those comments with you, I will do it.
You're better than that, Michael. Come on.
I'm calling you out now to give you a chance to press delete on it. I concur. I think the Arsenal performance gives me some hope. Whatever we were doing there that we didn't seem to do against Man City, I think Man City feels like a freak, doesn't it? I remember I predicted a 2-2 draw in that Man City game.
Yeah, do you remember that? You were optimistic.
I won't be repeating that mistake.
Yeah.
Just to be different, I'll go for a 2-0. A repeat of kind of the opening day. It'd be great to keep it tight until half time, and then eventually maybe that quality tells. But as the guys have talked about on Rewind, we've mentioned it throughout. You know, football is always weird. I'll quote the Matrix Reloaded. They're just human. They're just a man. Mo Salah is just a man. Mistakes might happen. Weird things tend to happen, and we could get that goal and shithouse a 1-0. It's not impossible.
And even Spurs beat them a few weeks ago, and Spurs are awful, so that should give everyone hope.
Just need to do what Forest did, don't we? So I think we'd be honest about it. I would go 2-0 Liverpool. Let's go back through and see what we've got and see whether Michael's comment is still there. So Colin's first up. He's going for a 2-2. There's the positivity in the chat to help us all out. Neil's going for a 1-1. Love this. Michael, I'm putting it up because you didn't delete it. We'll get thumped 5-0. Delap sent off and first half and Hurst crocked. There you go. Michael said it, not us.
To be fair, Michael then has another comment slightly further down. So
I'm going through them in order. So I'm building up the drama. Trevor's going for, he would take a 3-0. I don't know if that's to Ipswich or to Liverpool. I assume the latter. Okay, here's Michael to correct himself. 5-0 to Town. Stranger things have happened. Mark Markson 1-1 win to Ipswich. It would feel like that, wouldn't it? Ady's going for a 3-1. I assume that's to Town. Fulham, red card for Liverpool, just like Fulham, says Colin. Steve Girling, Liverpool 0, Ipswich Town 1. Who's going to be the Adam Tanner, the Marcus Stewart, Stephen? We want to know that. Sam, our resident Liverpool fan, it's fair to say that, isn't it? 3-0. Sorry, I agree with Seb. Must hurt you to say the last 4 words of that post there. Chris is going for a 1-1. And Michael, okay, late one. Well, 0-0. Michael, keep changing. We've split the difference. We've gone for a draw down the middle. Michael, I love it. Sorry for putting you on the spot. I apologize. Bradders 2-1 Liverpool. I take a 2-1. Score first. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Be nice, yeah. A Smodic style at the Etihad earlier in the season. Yeah, be nice to have a moment at Anfield. A goal in front of we're in the stand behind the goal, the Anfield Road end. So it'd be nice to have a goal at that end to celebrate with the fans before they unleash hell on us.
Lovely stuff. Well, you will be there watching it in reality, in real life. And if you're doing likewise, if you're making the long journey up to Anfield, then and you're listening to us on the way, do let us know. We love to hear about that. If Seb remembers, and he sounds like he won't be bothered to remember, do ask him for shaking his head, one-stop badge. The Flagship show back Sunday night. Ben, Dave and Craig. Telegram there for all of your transfer and match day needs and much more. Besides, Blue Monday Rewind, Julio and CISO reaction. There is so much going on. Blue Monday, ITFC.co.uk is our website. Everything you need is there. Thank you to Atwells. Thank you to One Stop Badges. Thank you to Brett Val. I need to mention Brett Val, who sponsor our FBL feature. They've got a frozen membership offer, 15 months offer of golf for the price of 12. So much going on at Brett Vale, a lovely golf course down the road from Copdock Interchange. Give them a shout. Website bretvalegolf.co.uk. Plus, if you quote Blue Monday when you join, they'll credit your membership card with £25 to be used in the bar or the pro shop. We love Brett Vale. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Seb. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved in the chat. Actually, I think I need to sign off, don't I?
Yeah, my record was well and truly obliterated last week against City, so it passes over to yourself. I will just give a little plug. A lot of people might not know this. Me and Rich we take it in turns every week to alternate for the BBC for an ITFC column, and Rich did an excellent one this week around the Man City game. If you're still feeling a bit down about that, go and give it a read. If you just go to the Ipswich Town page on the BBC website, give it a read. He channels the Ted Lasso and Goldfish, and it makes you feel an awful lot better about things after you read that. So much as I hate giving him credit, it's an excellent article, and I'd like to point you in the direction to give it a read because it makes you feel an awful lot better after what happened last weekend. You're taking us out. Thank you, everybody. See you next weekend for Southampton. Another huge game on the horizon, but thank you for this week. See you at Anfield. I won't have any badges, sorry. And see you all soon.
Setting it all out early, folks. Thank you if you've made it to the 55th minute. We appreciate you. I'm going to quote Ted Lasso again. We're going to be the Goldfish on Saturday. We're going to put last weekend out of our minds, regroup, refocus, summon the spirit of Tanner, the spirit of Stuart, who is going to be our hero, who's going to score that 1-0 goal at the Cop end. We believe we can do it. If not, power through. And the real quiz is Southampton the week after. But we hope you enjoy it. Look after yourselves in the weather over the next coming days as well. And for Ipswich Town fans, players, staff alike who are listening, we're right behind you. Come on, you Blues!